And so what we have been charged with at Leaders Credit Union as their financial champions is finding solutions that best suit them and that can guide them through this economic turmoil.
Hey, this is Shea.
And this is Carrie.
Welcome to the Pocket Change Podcast,
where you'll learn better ways to spend, save, and invest and take control of your financial journey.
So, Carrie, have you ever been, in a sales situation, maybe at a car lot or maybe buying an appliance or something? A lot of times they can be a little pushy, overbearing. We've all been there.
A little obnoxious sometimes. Not all the time, but I tend to try to turn the other direction and walk the other way.
Yeah, sometimes we run away. But in any case, sales is a part of some things we do here at Leaders. Not every sales interaction is that way, but at Leaders, we've tried to build a culture of leading the way on our members' behalf.
That's right. We are their financial champions.
And as their financial champion, we're going to talk to someone here at Leaders who's helping us lead the way for our members to champion their finances on their financial journey.
Yes, I'm excited to talk to our guest today. We're excited to welcome our guest, Hinna Jamal, Sales Strategy Officer here at Leaders Credit Union. Welcome to Pocket Change, Hinna.
Thank you, Carrie.
Well, we're so happy to have you here with us. So can you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got to Leaders?
Oh, I would love to, absolutely. So I started my career when I was 18 years old. I had a family friend who started a mortgage company. He was actually a mortgage broker. And he knew me through the family, and so he said, you know what, would you like to be a loan processor? And I thought, well, sure, why not? So I started off as a loan processor. Within 2 years, he saw my ability to build relationships with people. And so he promoted me into a loan officer position. So at the age of 20, I was working from 8:30 to 5 and then going to school from 6 to 10. Wow. And so I was able to not only get that work experience, but then also go to school. So I was a loan officer for 2 to 3 more years. And then 2008 hit. And I don't know if you guys remember, that was the year of the housing crisis.
Not good for mortgage officers.
Yes, yeah. So I actually was very fortunate that I was I went to a career fair at my university, and I stumbled upon a bank, Flagstar Bank, and they were hiring for a management trainee. And so I thought, you know what, I'm going to make a change. This is the time. This was before the bubble. And so I decided to apply. I went through the application process, got the position. So I started the management trainee program, and I fortunately got out right before the mortgage crisis.
Wow.
So it was really great timing. And so I was really fortunate to have that opportunity. That management trainee program really lined me up to be able to see all the different areas in a bank and credit union and a financial institution. So I was able to work in finance, accounting, in the retail branches, and I was really able to kind of understand how every piece kind of makes that whole puzzle. And so I was able to do that for a year. Then I interviewed. I was a teller, and I interviewed for an assistant manager position, became an assistant manager, then became a branch manager. So I was with Flagstar, which then got bought out by PNC for about 5 years, became a regional manager at the end. Then I found a boy and got married and moved to Memphis. And then I started working for Equifax Credit Bureau. And from there, I worked as a sales manager at Equifax for about 5 years, selling credit data, marketing data. And after that, I decided to take an opportunity as director of operations at a local credit union in Memphis. That developed into a chief operations position within that 5-year tenure I was there. And I enjoyed working in the credit union world. It really lined up with my purpose in life. I think that the credit union world really, we're built to help the community and help people. And so that's, and that's what I felt like my purpose in life is as well. So it really lined up with my purpose in life. So then I was approached with an opportunity at Leaders, and I took that opportunity. And now I'm here as a sales strategy officer, and I'm really enjoying it. The culture here is phenomenal. The heart of all of the financial champions at Leaders is really what differentiates Leaders in my eyes, and being able to have that purpose along with being able to work with people that have the same heart as you do has really been a tremendous journey for me.
Well, we're glad to have you a part of the Leaders team. And we know you're helping our members through different challenges they may face, especially, with sales, and we'll talk a little bit about that. But what are some of the economic factors that are affecting our members?
Absolutely. As you all know, and we've all felt it, inflation has been a huge piece of the economic impact that's affected our members and all the consumers. So just to throw out some numbers, about 56% of consumers are saying their expenses have increased because of inflation.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I feel it myself. So I can
Right.
imagine that 56% would say that. 60% report having more debt than they can pay off.
Yeah.
So you're put in a position where you don't feel stable. You don't know if you're going to be able to make your mortgage payment, your car payment, or any of your utility payments. Your light might be shut off at any moment. So it's really, it's a scary thing. It's a scary thing to feel. Overall, total U.S. consumer debt has increased to $17.46 trillion.
With a T,
Wow.
trillion.
Trillion dollars, which is up 2.8% from last year.
Wow.
It's quite a bit. So what our consumers are doing, what our members are doing, is they're leaning on debt to be able to leverage the expenses that they're having, the increase in expenses. And so what we have been charged with at Leaders Credit Union as their financial champions is finding solutions to best suit them and that can guide them through this economic turmoil.
Yeah.
So what are some areas that our members are looking for assistance?
So all of our members are really diverse in we're all diverse in the way that we live our lives, our lifestyles, the way that we make purchases, the way that we do things. And so understanding each member is really critical, and understanding the likes, the dislikes, the pain points, the things that are really affecting you, Carrie, and you, Shea, is really important. So what we really focus on is understanding 4 specific areas of how you're conducting your finances, which is everyday money management, savings, borrowing, and account safeguarding. So traditionally, we always think, okay, well, credit unions are for saving money and
Having a
getting
checking
money.
account.
Right.
Yeah.
But now that we have so much technology at our fingertips, it's more than that. It's how can we protect ourselves from fraud? How can we make sure that we're able to have that convenience in our hand, but then also be able to make sure that we are utilizing all the tools that we have. So our members are really looking to, just like we are, looking for ways to make money, save money, and bring convenience and ease to the table.
That's right. That's right. And the term, sales can sometimes have a negative connotation, but
Absolutely.
how does Leaders treat that a little differently?
Yeah, I know sales is kind of a dirty word for a lot of people. When I think of sales, traditionally, sales has really been more of a transactional method, which is really you look at specific benefits of a product or a solution, and then you really sell those benefits. So when I think of that, I think of a car salesman. So you go to a car dealership, you look at different cars, they'll tell you, oh, this car, it's red, it could go up to XYZ miles per hour, it has these safety features, you would look great in this car, you would be able to protect your family, these are the benefits of that car.
Right.
And that's why you should purchase this car. At Leaders, we do things a little bit different. We use more of a needs-based approach.
Okay.
And so what that means is we are asking questions intentionally to understand what your needs are. So we'll ask open-ended questions. We'll try to understand where your pain points are, where your opportunities are, what you're feeling, what you're needing. And then we try to provide those solutions in the end. So I think it's very different than the transactional where you're pushing, and I think you feel it, right? When you go to a car dealership, you feel pressured to purchase that item. Where in a needs-based approach, where you kind of think of it like a doctor. You go to a doctor, you tell them all of the different symptoms you have, and then they give you a diagnosis and a treatment. It's similar to what we do. We're figuring out their needs, we're figuring out what the diagnosis is, and then we're giving them a treatment plan, essentially.
So how do you think that Leaders is implementing the needs-based approach that you mentioned?
Yeah, so that's a great question, Carrie. We have put a lot of different tools in place. The big thing for us is being consistently consistent. So if you go into the branch, you call in, you go online, we want to make sure that each interaction feels the same. So we're making sure that all of our financial champions are trained to have the same conversation, are using the same tools. One of the other big things that Leaders has done is we've invested in our financial champions. We have over 50 financial champions who have gone through a financial counseling certification program through our credit union national association. And that really shows that not only do we have the heart and the passion to fuel our members and what they are trying to accomplish in their financial journey, but we also are empowering our financial champions with the minds, the mindset to be able to give them the tools and resources to be able to be that financial champion and make their lives better.
Yeah.
That's
And I know
great.
Carrie and I have gone through that. We're both certified financial counselors, and it really gives us the information to know how I can help this member that's sitting in front of me that may have XYZ financial issue or situation they're dealing with, because every member, like you said, is different, coming to us with a different life stage and scenario. And so having that background knowledge is vast, a lot of different knowledge pieces to that, but really gives us that knowledge that we can take and bring to the table, because we are our members' financial champion. We want to champion their finances. So how are we staying true to our mission? We power our members' passions and make lives better.
Absolutely. So one of the big pieces is asking meaningful questions and understanding that the active listening is the biggest piece to the conversation. So listening to respond is one piece, but listening to understand, interpret, and give solutions is completely different. So that's been one of our key initiatives this past 6 months, is to provide training and giving our financial champions the tools and resources to be able to have that educated conversation, ask those meaningful questions, active listen, and be able to really guide our members through their financial journey. And our number one priority is the well-being of our members. So we have the power to impact our members if we're really truly trying to understand what situation they're in, where they are in their financial journey. And so what really it boils down to is connecting with Carrie, connecting with Shea, and really understanding through the active listening where they're trying to get to.
So it sounds like you are helping to build a culture of caring financial advisors. So I'm curious, what is your best piece of financial advice for us today?
Oh, that's a fun one. So I would say invest in yourself. So a lot of times when we think about financial advice, we think about how can we save more money. But oftentimes we don't talk about how can we make more money. And so I think when I think about those two facets of saving money and making money, I think investing in yourself primarily comes down to investing in education. And so when I say education, I'm talking about vocational school, I'm talking about 2-year associate degrees, I'm talking about college degrees and on. The statistics around it are really interesting. They say that high school graduates earn $6,000 more annually than those that don't graduate, and that's $240,000 over their lifespan.
Oh, wow.
And the numbers jump up once you get an associate degree, and you're earning potentially $480,000 more over the lifespan than an individual who doesn't get a degree. So investing in yourself and investing in education is truly your pathway to earning more money and having more earning power. So my biggest piece of advice would be invest in yourself, invest in education.
That's great
So
advice.
we've got another fun question. If you had some pocket change, maybe not as much as we just mentioned by getting a degree, but just some pocket change, what would you do? What would you spend it on?
Yeah, I don't have a really fun answer for that. I thought about it and I was like, well, I could, put it in a savings account. But then I really thought about it and I'm like, you know what, this is money that I don't really need. So I would go to the grocery store, get some food, go home, prepare some small meals, and go ahead and pass it out to some homeless people. And I would do that with my children, so then they see the impact
Passing
of
it
helping,
along.
helping
Great.
others.
Makes
That's
a bigger
great.
impact. doesn't it?
Absolutely. And it really, again, as I mentioned earlier, it really aligns with my purpose in life. And that's the reason I'm here at Leaders, helping other people.
Well, we're so happy you're here with us at Leaders. And thank you, Hinna, for being on the Pocket Change podcast with us today.
Thank you, Carrie. Thank you, Shea.
Thanks for tuning in to the Pocket Change podcast.
Be sure to rate, review, and subscribe, and check out our YouTube channel for full episodes,
The Pocket Change podcast is brought to you by Leaders Credit Union.
where we power your passion and make lives better.
Cha-ching.
Cha-ching! Leaders is federally insured by the NCUA Equal Housing Lender.
Learn more at leaderscu.com.